Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com. In this video tutorial I want to talk about setting up high-speed hosting for the Grav CMS. So with WordPress heading towards 5.0, I know a lot of people that I've talked to in the development side of things have really started to gravitate, kind of a pun intended, to the Grav CMS. And I've tested it and I kind of like it myself. And actually I've been considering moving the Name Hero blog over to it. Really, for the most part, that I like that it does not have a database to it. So it's kind of removes that aspect of things and it just runs lightning fast. And with the changes to WordPress 5.0 coming, such as Gutenberg being put into the new editor, there's maybe some time to kind of play around with another CMS. But, regardless whether you use WordPress or Grav, we provide high-speed hosting for both of them. But I definitely want to walk you through this tutorial to show you what Grav is. Maybe you even haven't even heard of it, and how you would install it. So maybe you could test out your website, maybe test some speeds and see how it looks. So let's head over there right now. This is getgrav.org, and you can see their slogan is "Build Faster Website." So it's a modern open source flat file CMS, kind of a mouthful there. But again, I think the main takeaway from this is it does not have a database aspect to it. Does not have a database. So with WordPress, you have your PHP files, then connect to your MySQL database, and that's where all the content and stuff is stored. Whereas the PHPs is just your file system where all the files of your website live. With Grav, everything is stored inside the file structure, so there's no database calls. Often when we see a slow WordPress website, we're always telling the customer, look at your plugins, look at your theme, look at how many database calls are being made, because each time the database is called, the server's being taxed. So, I think that's going to be the main takeaway for those that are interested in Grav. Is just no database, and so essentially it is going to be a little bit faster. Now, right outside the box, if you split test a Grav new install versus WordPress install, it's about the same with no content. So it really, depends on how large the site is and, how many visitors you're getting. So let's just go through their website here a little bit. You can go to getgrav.org and really spend a lot of time on it. I'm just going to kind of go over some of the main features that they talk about. it being fast, extensionable, in the fact that they've got a powerful API that and you can make packages, and there's sophisticated package manager, so you could add other packages, and of course it's open source, that's the big thing. Super easy to use. Unlike WordPress, when you install WordPress, it kind of comes like the whole back end has this admin area that's built to it. With Grav, you have the option to use the admin plugin or not, which meaning you can have Grav running for your site, but you don't have to use their admin area. You can just edit it in your own file editor. A lot of developers really like this because they don't like the GUI, the graphical user interface. But I feel like a lot of people that are kind of beginners or kind of novices at web design, they're going to want the admin plugin. So it's optional with Grav, or it comes with it. And I feel like a lot of people will just want it to have it, but you at least have that option. If you're a developer and you know your way around stuff, then you're probably not going to want it. But I think a lot of people more will want it than won't, unless you're just a big time developer. Become a hero developer. I like the hero on here. Enjoy content creation, one-click installs, stellar performance. So you can go to their site and read up about everything. It's got everything that you would see in most modern-day content management systems and a little bit more. So, me personally, I like it. I like the fact that it doesn't have a database. And of course, we offer high-speed Grav hosting here at Name Hero. So let me show you how to set up Grav on a website, and then you can play around with it and see if you like it and whatnot. And of course, then you can kind of make the decision which CMS is best for your website. So here at Name Hero, all of our hosting packages come with optimized for Grav and other CMS systems. But for Grav specifically, we have set up our auto installer, so you can install Grav in one click. Grav is easy to install manually, but if you want to just use the one-click installer and not have to touch anything, which is what I like to do, that's how we have it set up. Our one-click install also includes the Grav admin area, so it's going to have the admin plugin, because as I said, I think more people are going to want the admin plugin than not. Really, I don't think it makes any performance difference whether to have it or not. I know that some developers, they just like to develop everything in their in their code manager and they don't want to mess with it. So, if that's you, you can remove the admin plugin or you just install it manually. So anyways, all of our hosting packages, as I said, are optimized for it. Today, I'm going to demonstrate on our basic hosting. If you are reselling hosting with us, you can offer all your customers Grav hosting as well because all those servers are optimized. If you have the need for a VPS, we see this with some of our customers that are using Grav. They like to have it on their VPS because it just makes it even more fast because they can dedicate specific resources and also, modify the OS to specific for their Grav installation. So you have that option. But the good thing at Name Hero is you can upgrade at any time, from our basic hosting to our VPS. So basically you can get started with high-speed Grav hosting for $389 a month, and then it kind of goes on up from there. This is basically how many visitors your site's going to get a month, and that's kind of how we differentiate between the packages. What makes this up is the amount of CPU cores and RAM that you have. Now, as I've said already several times, Grav does not have a database component to it. So essentially, it's going to use less RAM than WordPress with a database. But still, yet, the more RAM you have, the more cores you have, the faster it's going to be. Our starter cloud package with 1 CPU core, 1 gigabyte of RAM, it's really good for developers. It's good for businesses that are kind of getting off the ground. But I don't really recommend that for a live website because, you're always going to need room to grow. So most of the time, I recommend starting with the Plus Cloud, if not the Turbo Cloud. These are the two most popular packages here at Name Hero. And these allow for the best entry points. And then, of course, since we are on the cloud, you can upgrade at any time. So today, I'm going to install Grav on the Plus Cloud, which is suitable for about 25,000 monthly visitors. Again, without the database, you might be able to get by with a little bit more, kind of depending on what else you have going on the account. But this is a good starting point. It's important to note the Plus Cloud allows for up to 250,000 inodes. So essentially, this is 250,000 files. So without the database component, Grav actually has more what they call YAM files to it, where some of the data is stored. So as you start to get more posts and stuff, that file limit increases. So 250,000 is a lot, though. I don't see too many people going over that. But if you do, our Turbo Cloud allows for up to 500,000 files, and same with the business. So, kind of depending on how large your website is would kind of differentiate between these two. And then if you need more than 500,000, we always just kind of recommend a VPS because that is going to provide you with unlimited files and a lot of more dedicated resources. Because obviously, if you're using more than 500,000 files, it probably is best to get your own dedicated machine just because if you're that large, there's probably a lot other things that you need to have, which we cannot offer on just a basic hosting account. So the Plus Cloud's great to start. If your site's already large, if you're already running your Grav site, you probably want to start with the Turbo. But for this example, I'm just going to be installing Grav. New copy, so I'm going to use the Plus Cloud. Name Hero is a high-speed cloud host, meaning that if you do need to upgrade to the Turbo or even the Business, you can do so right inside of our interface. There's no there's no migration process. It's on the cloud, so it automatically will scale up, and you'll have instant access to those new resources. So if one of your posts goes viral on Facebook or social media, and you need to get more resources to handle the traffic, you can do that instantly in our interface. Just pay the difference, and then it scales up, and you're all set. All right, so I'm going to start the Plus Cloud. I'm just going to click it here, and I've got 3 options. One, I'm going to register a new domain as long as you pay yearly, that's the lowest paying option on our Plus Cloud. The domain registration for the first year is free. It's on us, so you're going to save $12.98 right then and there. So if you're registering a new site, I recommend taking advantage of that free domain offer. If you already have your domain at GoDaddy or HostGator or Bluehost, maybe you're already at another host, you can transfer it over to us. This just makes it easier for us to troubleshoot stuff if your domain is in our management system and is in our interface. And you'll probably see this as we go along here. When you just need to update your name servers, it's just so much easier to have everything in one spot. Just like the registering a domain, if you decide to transfer your name, we cover the transfer fee for free as long as it's a .com, .net, .org, .mobi, .us. One of those really top level TLDs, then we cover that for you. So you just enter your domain, select the TLD here, and you can enter the password and go from there. Here's the complimentary ones right here. But in my case, I'm going to use option 3 because I've got my domain already in my Name Hero account. So this just pretty much states that you already have your domain and you're going to be using it and updating it yourself. This is the option you would choose if your domain's at GoDaddy or Namecheap or where have you, and you just want to update the name servers. Maybe you're not ready to bring your domain over yet, and that's fine. You can wait until whenever you're ready. So anyways, I'm going to enter my domain I already have. It's called keydiets.com. That's the one I'm going to be displaying today. So keydiets.com, click use. All right, now we're going to configure our options here. We are going to start off the Plus Cloud. It allows us to host up to 6 different domains. So I can add on 6 domains to this, or 6 domains onto the current package here. It comes with unlimited RAID 10 storage. The only limit was those inodes, which is 250,000. My bandwidth is unmetered, 2 CPU cores, 2 gigabytes of RAM. I have Lightspeed, Cloudflare, yes, and free SSL. So I've got some tools to make it even faster. Grav is already fast, but with these extra tools, especially Lightspeed, they've got a specific configuration just for Lightspeed, and it's lightning fast. It's really awesome. Free SSL, if you're familiar with Google Chrome, you know that as of July 1st, 2018, every site that did not have an SSL certificate started showing up errors. You don't want it's not really, I guess not an error, it's a warning. Non-secure, not secure. You don't want to have that. So it's free and automatic at Name Hero. Don't have to worry about that. All right, we're going to choose our billing cycle. At Name Hero, we reward customers on longevity. The longer you sign up, the better the price. So if you want to save more, go with the longer price. It's also easier. Not only have to worry about paying hosting once every 3 years. Really don't know why. If you could get it for $9.99 a month, why not do that? If you want to pay more, then you can. But I know you pay more up front, but just kind of gets it over with. And that's how I like to do it because I like to save money as much as I can. So next is the drop my site offsite backups. With Grav being everything in the file structure, I really highly recommend and almost really want to push everyone that has Grav to get this. 5 gigabytes is $1.99 a month, and this allows you to retain 30 days of backup. With everything being in the file structure, I just think it's a good call because Drop My Site allows you to restore just individual directories if you lose something. So again, with everything in that file structure, I just feel better with 30 days. Name Hero provides complimentary backups each night, but we only retain 1 day's worth of data. Problem with that is if you delete something on Monday and you don't realize it till Friday, we only have the backup from Thursday. So that's where that becomes an issue. But if you have Drop My Site for $2 a month, then we're going to have everything for the last month. So that's what I recommend doing. If that's not for you, then don't worry about it. It's just something I recommend because for $2 a month, why not save the headache? Dedicated IP address. I always tell customers, ask the question, am I going to be using email on this account or not? If yes, and if I'm using email a lot, then it's a good idea to check this bad boy. If you have a shared IP, which is what it comes with if you don't order the dedicated one, your IP is shared by thousands of other sites, meaning that it doesn't get as good email deliverability rates. But if you're not sending email, don't worry about this. But if you are and you want your emails to be delivered with the best accuracy, you want this. All right, continue on. Now I'm going to be at my checkout. We're currently running our Summer Sizzler promotion, so I'm going to save even more. If you recall, I signed up for 3 years, so I was going to save already, but with our summer promotion, I get an additional $150.95 off of our prices here. So that's a pretty good savings there that I'm getting for my first 3 years of hosting. So again, sign up for 3 years, I'm going to save a lot more. So, I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but some people, they want to go just a year, they want to go just 2 years, and that's completely up to you. So let me finish the checkout here, and then we will install Grav. You complete your payment. We give a survey here at Name Hero. It's our goal to provide 5 for 5 or 10 for 10 customer service and support. If this video on YouTube helped you out, if our blog post on this helped you out, we certainly do appreciate all 5s. If you enter these, you will have an opportunity to share your responses with potential new clients. We certainly do appreciate some kind words there. Leave your name and email address. This is just a follow up because maybe you don't have enough information to rate everything yet, so we'll just follow follow up later on. It's not used for marketing. We hate spam just as bad as you hate spam. If you're not ready to fill this out at all yet, that's fine. Just click the X. So, it's there if you'd like to do it. We certainly appreciate it, but by all means, you don't have to. All right, so now my order is in. I'm going to continue to the client area. There's a couple more things I need to do to get my Grav hosting set up. So first thing is I need to go to my cloud web hosting, and I need to go to the package I just purchased. This is my demo account, so I've got a couple. I'm going to click on Plus Cloud for keydiets.com. And I've got my name servers here. So I need to set my name servers for my domain. Remember, I chose option 3 saying I would do this. Now, if your domain is at GoDaddy or Namecheap, then you need to log into their interface and update these in there. Now, since my domain's in Name Hero, I just need to update them to these values here. So domains, my domains, keydiets.com. Wait for it to come up here. Click on name servers. And then I'm going to grab this one here, copy it, click custom here, paste it here, and then make sure it's in S30 here. So make sure you just pull this one here. I've already actually got this one set up before this video, so I would have everything propagated so I could demonstrate. Click change name servers, and you're all set. Now remember, there's a period called DNS propagation when you do this. So if you go to your website, in my case, if I go to keydiets.com and the site's not working, well, that just means the DNS hasn't propagated yet. This can take up to 24 hours, but nowadays in the United States, most of the time we see this propagate within an hour, sometimes even quicker than that. But if you're an international customer, it depends on your ISP, so it could take a little bit longer, but I always tell people just allow a full 24 hours when in doubt. But I did complete these before this video so we could demonstrate here, because now I want to show you how to install and get Grav set up so you can begin using it. So right now, if I just go to my site, keydiets.com, there's nothing here, right? It's a new hosting account, just the blank page. So I want to install Grav. I'm going to do this using our one-click installer. This is the easiest way to get it set up on your site. So I'm going to click Login to cPanel under Actions here on the right. Once I get inside of cPanel, if you're not familiar, cPanel is the control panel of choice for most web hosts around the world. More people use cPanel than anything else. cPanel allows you to control your site completely. You can edit files, you can set up email addresses, you can install Grav, or even you can install WordPress or what have you. Everything from your site can be done inside of here. There's no need for extra software or anything else. We try to keep it as simple as possible on you. If you're a hardcore developer and you want to use your own FTP program, you can do that as well. But some people, they just want to do everything right here in the browser. So cPanel allows that. We're going to go down here to the app installer. So we're just going to go down here, and you'll see under apps installer, there's all kinds of different scripts in here. And so there's just all kinds of different scripts, but Grav is one of them. So we're going to click under portals/CMS, and we're going to search for Grav. And you're going to see it come up right here, and you can see it here. So first off, we have the star rating. It rates about a 4.341, so basically close to a 5-star. This is a current version that is in the app installer, 1.4.8. This was released, I'm doing this video here in about mid-August, so this was released late last month. And then it gives some details about Grav. So pretty much the same stuff we've covered on their site here. 1.4.8 is the latest version, so we can kind of confirm that right here. When you watch this video, it's probably changed. It's probably upgraded if you watch it later than in August here. But anyways, it's got the description, the features, screenshots. They've got a demo that it links to here. The ratings, people, what they think about it, 49 5 stars. So people like Grav. The reviews, I don't see any. Oh, this is so you can leave a review. Import. This is if you want to import the current Grav install. So if you have it installed already and you want to import it into our app installer to automatically update and stuff, you can do that here. Anyways, so we're going to click install now. It makes it really simple here. So we have to choose our protocol. We have HTTPS installed by default, right? So that's what we're going to use. I like to use www, just kind of personal preference. Choose my domain, keydiets.com. Choose what directory. So this is where your root Grav install is going to live. If you want it installed in a subdirectory, such as /blog, you can enter that here. Grav is default, but you could do /blog. So this would mean keydiets.com/blog would have the Grav installation. I'm going to leave it blank because I want it when you go to keydiets.com, I want you to see the Grav installation. Admin username and password, this is going to be to the admin plugin. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said the cool thing about Grav is you don't have to install this, but with our one-click installer, it's installed by default. So we are going to install it. I think most of you will want this. I don't recommend admin and password one. That seems pretty weak. I like to use a combination of numbers and characters. No special characters here, just letters and numbers in my username. In my password, I like to use the lock here, because it automatically generates a strong one for me. And I'm going to copy it in another window just so I have it. This is your admin email address. This is used in case you get locked out or lost. So let me just put mine in here. First name, I'm just going to enter my first name, last name, real name. That's probably what's displayed a little bit throughout it. All right, so they've got some advanced options. You can go through these if you want, like auto update notifications, auto upgrade, backup location, which this will only go to your computer, a local folder, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm not going to click auto upgrade. I'll just manually do it because I like to keep things updated. Finally, you can email installation details. If you have a web developer you're working with or business partner, you can send them some info. I don't, so I'm going to click install. You can see it took about 3 seconds. It installs. So now if I go to Key Diets, I'm going to see Grav. Just takes a second to bring up. All right, good. DNS propagated everything. So this is just the basic page, the Welcome to Grav page, that it's installed and we're all set. We can click typography and we see it. So it's installed and running. So now we can go to the admin area. It's just /admin. And you can see they've got a super clean admin area, which I like it. Enter that same username and password that we just created. So let's copy it over. You can enter username or email, which is cool. Enter my password and log in. Okay, so this is the back end, and it's familiar to a lot of other CMSs out there, such as WordPress. You've successfully logged in. Your maintenance, it's 100% updated. This will show you when the last backup is. You could run a backup here. It will back it up in the local folder. It's actually running one now. Your backup. Oh, okay. It ran the backup. Now I can download the backup. So that's pretty nice. People don't take enough backups. I can't stress that enough. Statistics. This is showing how many visitors. So I got 3 today. That was me. There's some Grav notifications. They've got a news feed. They've got the pages here. So in Grav, it's not like WordPress, so they have pages and posts. They just have pages. So there's 2 pages that are created by default. It's the home and typography here. So I can basically click on this if I want, and here's where I edit it. So you can see they use markup. So this is called markup here when you have like this these 2 hashtags or pound signs, whatever you call them, or these 2 asterisks. This is called markup. And so this makes things like bold or different headlines. So like if I highlight over congratulations and I click bold, you can see that it adds that markup to it. So that's something that's a little bit different than you may be used to seeing and other editors. Is it's actually using markup, than kind of what you see is what you get. So a little bit different than some of the editors you may be familiar with, but nonetheless, it's still pretty simple. If I wanted to make this a headline, I could click header, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So like a 1 would be the 1 hashtag or 1 pound sign, like you're seeing here. So that it uses markup, a little bit different, but nothing too complicated. So if I want to edit this page, I could do it right in here, and I would just do my edits in here how I wanted it. I've got some media. If I wanted to add images or any type of media, I could. And when I'm finished, I'd click save. And of course, you can delete, move, copy. You can add in other pages and stuff like that. You have so let's just, for example, let's just put, we'll just put welcome name hero so you can see the change reflect. So if I go back over to here, welcome name hero. So this is what you see here, and this is just the editor where it all happens. So I mean, pretty self-explanatory. If you want to see the the raw code to it, it's just using markup. So this is how it's going to view. Now, if we want to go into the options of it, there's a bunch of different options here you can change, like published, date, published date, unpublished date, the metadata, and this is where you can add that stuff. So like you can change the date or the published date, unpublished date, metadata, keywords, or the keywords value, all the fun stuff for SEO, taxonomies such as a category or tag. They've always got these bug issues here because it's not a rather new project. I mean, it's a newer project, Grav is, so you could report any issues on GitHub. Click Advanced here. You've got the folder name. So the folder is where the actual file lives, and I'll go over the file structure here just shortly so you can kind of see how this works. But the folder is where this actual file for home is created, and this is a parent. So this means the root is the root directory where Grav is installed, and then so /home is just right under the root. So that's where that is, and typography is in the same too. Page template, so there's a different template for it, blog, default, air, external, a couple of these, come in here, set up. You can create your own templates, but I'm not going to get into that at this moment. Body classes, so kind of some CSS stuff you can do here. Folder number, prefix, sortable pages, all that stuff. Some overrides you can do in here. You just kind of override the defaults that are out there. Most of the time, you're not going to be touching this stuff. But, this is why Grav, they've got an extensive documentation if you like to read. They've got on their sites, Grav documentations. Where is it? Read the documentation. So there's like 80 chapters or something crazy. 14 chapters, like 80 pages. I went through a lot of this recently. So they've got really good documentation. You can search it, but it talks a little bit more about all these features in one place. But I don't want to cover them all in this. If we go to expert view, we're going to continue. Just got some more advanced options here. So for example, you can see the front matter. And so this is how they title pages. You just put title in here, and so this is more of what it would look like if you were editing in your your own code editor versus in their admin plugin. And once again, they're using the markup on here. Go down here, so pretty much the same stuff, nothing too crazy. Options, we have the folder name, same stuff again. If we go back to dashboard, notifications, newsfeed, pages, we can manage all the pages, which takes us over here. Configuration, this is pretty much the basic stuff, like what page is the home page. So if I change the home page to typography, click save, when I go to my site now, I'm going to see the typography page here. See? keydiets.com it goes to this page. So, if I'm wanting to change what page comes up first, this is where I will do it. I'm just going to go back and leave it as home as my default, but I can create a different page and show that on home. If you've used WordPress ever, you're very familiar with that. Hide home route and URLs. So this is default no, and you can change that over. This will ensure the default routes for any page under the home do not reference home's regular routes. So, kind of some basic stuff here. It's just kind of how the URLs are structured in kind of layman's terms. Let's see, I changed that to home, so let's refresh it. So typography, we just see /typography. We're not seeing anything else in the route in the URL. The default theme, this is Quark. There's only one theme installed. I'll show you how to install a theme here in a second. Markdown twig process. This controls how the pages are processed. Can be set per page rather than globally. Time zone, this is whatever time zone you're on. Page format, the short display format. I know here in the United States we do things a little bit differently than the rest of the world. So, wherever you're from, make your date look like you want it to look like. Long date format, the default ordering posts and folders and all that. So again, this is a ton of stuff. So I'm not going to go through each one of these right now, but feel free to go through all of this. Force SSL, that's probably a big one. We should probably do that. You can go through all of these one by one, or also look at the documentation. Site, this is again site title, which is what we did when we set it up. If we wanted to change this to Key Diets, we could. Save. Default language, EN for English. Default author, we could change this around. And this is just pretty your standard stuff that you can change around to whatever makes sense for you. This is your media, what media you accept to be uploaded into your posts and stuff. So you kind of the default stuff. info just talks about we're running PHP 7.0.31 and all the cool stuff we have on the server. So that's the configuration. The rest of the stuff's pretty explanatory. You know what through the pages. Now, like WordPress, Grav has plugins that you can add, and there's some plugins that are already pre-installed. It comes installed with these 7 main ones, and then you can add more, which I'm going to show you how to do that here shortly. So you can see the admin panel, that's a plugin, right? So we got the opportunity, we can have it or we can't, or we don't have to, but it's installed by default with our one-click installer. We have an email plugin for send email, an error plugin, form, login, markdown notices, and problems. So you can enable these or disable these. And if you want to disable it, you can, or you can add plugins. By clicking add, you can see there's a ton. You know, that's the cool thing about Grav. It's an open source project. There's all kinds of different plugins you can use to accomplish different things on your website. So very similar to what you would have with WordPress. And, you know, each one of these, you can click them and get some details. You know, they go to most of them, their GitHub pages that talk about the actual product. But instead of having to, you know, pull these from Git, you can just download them right here in the admin plugin. Kind of the main benefit to having the admin plugin, just point and click. Themes, it works the same way. So if you're familiar with WordPress, you're familiar with adding, installing new themes, depending on how you want it to look. If you're a developer, you're probably making your own. But again, you could click on Add, and you can see there's all kinds of pre-developed themes. So you can look at these, and you can see, I like how they do this. They have stable themes that have been tested, and then testing themes that they're currently testing. So I like to go with the stable ones, though, and there's no need to go with testing ones unless you want to kind of join that group. But it makes sense to use the stable ones, in my opinion. But to install these, it's very simple. And it's funny, I've seen a lot of these same ones on WordPress, so that's interesting too. A couple of these are, they're versatile for both Grav and WordPress. But, basically just makes your site look more unique without having to make any development yourself. So if we wanted to install one of these, we would just click install. Ready to install the packages, continue. And it's just installing, just like it would if WordPress or another similar content management system. And as I said, even if you're not using the admin plugin, you can still install these themes by dropping them into the file structure. Very, very simple. So you can see our active theme is the Quark, and we can turn on card stack if we want. By switching, there's no guarantee the layout and page are supported, potentially causing errors. Pretty much is you're changing the layout, so be careful. You can always revert back. So if we go back to our site here, we can see it's going to look a little bit different. The header looks a little different. Well, maybe I broke the entire site because I'm doing a demo. It knows that. And we'll see. Might have to flush everything out. Anyways, I might have just broken the site that we were demoing. So let's switch back to the themes. I guess that's why they warn us that it could happen. Yeah. So anyways, we'll switch back. So that happens. Be careful doing that. That's why you can revert back, though. So that's themes. And again, you can check for updates, kind of similar stuff as you're used to with WordPress or other content management systems. Tools. So they've got several packages for Grav. If you want to just install a package via the direct zip, so this could be a theme, a plugin, or a Grav update, and you just want to grab the whole zip, you could download it to your computer, choose it, and upload it here. Or if you have the package URL, you can just retrieve it here. So if you go to like Grav's website here, and we click it here, they've got downloads, and they've got like skeletons, like actual whole packages. These are not only themes, these are themes and plugins that are kind of all together, where you can download these, which is the whole file structure, or you can just get themes, which is pretty much what we just did, install a theme that broke our site. But there's plenty of other themes you could download here, and then there's individual plugins. So you can see there's 259 of these, quite a few of them. And go through and read about these, and just like using WordPress, all kinds of different themes that are plugins that you can do to carry out stuff on your site. That's about it. Then you can log out. So kind of a simple, easy to use dashboard, not a ton of features, but very simple, fast, and again, there's no database installed into this. So that's probably my favorite thing about Grav. Let's go look at the file structure really quick. If I click on my cPanel, go back to log into cPanel, and I click File Manager, and I click on www or public HTML, my root directory. This is a file structure for Grav. Now, pretty much all of these assets, backup bin, cache, CGI bin's nothing. It's just default. So pretty much everything is default. You're not going to mess with really any of these other folders other than user. Inside user, this is where your pages, plugins, themes, data, config, and accounts are stored. So for example, our pages, you can see we have 2 pages, and we can look at this in our admin directory together. We have 2 pages. Well, the pages are stored inside of here. So actually inside of this directory is where the page is. So you can look how the naming convention works. Like this is the default page, or default.md, and this goes off the template. So again, this is default.md. This means it's working off the default template. So if I click on default.md, click edit here, you can see this is the same thing you would see inside of your editor. So if I click home, and I've got my expert mode turned on so I can see the front matter here. So this is basically the same thing. So I can come in here and edit my page just like I could inside the editor here. So this is why I said some people that are developers, you might just want to use your code editor rather than the admin editor that works in the browser. So you have that option. You can come in here and edit everything that you would like, make your changes. So welcome to the name hero. I can just change it to hosting to show you. Click save. And when you do, if we go to our site, click our site here, you see welcome name hero hosting. So, everything that can be done inside of here can also be done in your admin area or vice versa. So kind of versatile there. But it is interesting to note that this is whatever template is. So if we look in here and we click on, I think it's in options maybe. Yes, default template. So it's whatever template I'm using. So if I change this to the blog template, click save. If we go back here, you can see it's a little bit of a different template. And I'll talk about those here in just a second. So it's a different template, but then if I go into my file manager and go to home now, you can see this is called blog.md because this is off the template. It's the page name is actually a folder. Then the actual file that controls that page is the template name. So interesting to note, most of you don't have to worry about this unless you're developing, then you should know that. But basically everything you need to do is inside of pages. Plugins, these are just where the plugins are installed, the first 7, the admin plugin, the email error. So any plugins you want to install, you would just drop them in here or use the admin area. Same thing with themes, drop your themes in here. The card stack we just installed, basically we just drop this folder in there, but using the admin plugin. Config, they have several different configs in here. So these are YAML files. I hope I say that right. I always get it confused. But just these are all different config stuff. You don't really have to worry about this. You can look at it if you want. Click edit. And you can see this is, again, we can edit this in our admin area. We can edit it here, the title of the site, the default language. I've got my name and all that stuff. If we go up a level here, you can see there's somewhere in here, there is certain server configurations. I'm not sure where that ran off to. Web server configs. So you can see there's a Lightspeed specific config file. So you can pull stuff out of here too for your config. So it says don't forget to change the path and stuff like that. But I'm going to not cover this in this video because this is getting pretty long and I don't want to get too much into optimizations and stuff. But this is where the Lightspeed optimized file is. Pretty much preventing exploits though, improving security, rerouting to the index. Not a whole lot of optimization, so to speak, as more as kind of like patching up stuff and security. So I'll do another video to discuss that in detail because I can nerd out forever on stuff like that. But that's kind of the basics of the file structure for Grav. Again, they do a really good job, better job in their documentation than I can. But really, that's the most important parts that you should understand is the user folder. That's where your primary interest is. All these other folders pretty much are just the application itself. And once again, you don't have a database. So if you go into your cPanel, go to MySQL, you're going to see there's no databases, but we have a fully functioning site inside of here. So that's Grav. Personally, I love it. It's lightweight. It's easy to use. I can create pages, right off of, right inside their area here. Just click Add Page. Enter the page title. Just put Ryan Gray. As I'm typing my page title, it fills out my folder name. The parent page, so if you wanted this under home, you can make it under home. Or so if you had like a blog, this may be a blog post. Or if this is under the root directory, maybe a root page, you'd put it like that. You have your different templates here. Visible auto, which means yes. Create it. And now I could do my content. So my title's right here, and I could change this back to normal if you're more comfortable, editing everything like that. And go to content. And so I can enter my title here and all my stuff right here. This is a test page. Save it. Go back here. Refresh it. See, Ryan Gray. This is a test page. And real quick, let's talk about those templates too. User, themes, card stack, templates. These are where I can edit the templates of my templates of the template. They're twig files. I forget where I was going to go with that, but that's where they're located, inside of themes. I don't think you can edit the themes inside of here. Other than just turning them on and off, I don't think you can actually edit them inside of here. So you have to go into the actual file structure to do that. But you can see it very self-explanatory, very simple to add a page and start modifying it. I like the flexibility. I love how lightweight it is. It is extremely fast. I did some speed tests actually comparing to a couple WordPress stuff. So again, I'm going to save that for another video to compare them. But that is how to set up Grav hosting. Super easy. Just kind of dive into it though, play around with it. Let us know what you think. They're doing a lot of good things over there. I really hope they continue on and keep going the direction they are. I know we're getting a lot of requests for it here at Name Hero. So you're going to like it. You're going to like the speed of it especially, and the flexibility of it, especially for the developers out there. So feel free to let me know if you have any feedback. I thank you very much for using Name Hero's high-speed cloud hosting. It's certainly our pleasure to provide you with Grav hosting, and look forward to working with you all.